And let's start with a topic, Chris, that has kind of come up a couple of times this offseason as it relates to Derrick Henry and the Titans. Derrick Henry has signed his franchise tender, and we don't know whether or not that's going to become a long-term deal. Christian McCaffrey, we talked about on the show today, wants a long-term contract, and I believe will draw a line in the sand to try to get it. The question is, when we look at some of the contracts that have been meted out to running backs in recent years, why is anyone paying big money for running backs? Because have any of them actually earned the second contracts they've received?
No, I think it's a really good conversation. It's scary. I'd be scared to give a running back big money on that second contract right now. No doubt about it. I mean, when you just look at the last three guys to get big money, I'm scarred by that. Of course, Ezekiel Elliott last year, I don't think he performed up to that his capabilities or up to the standard of being the number one running back in the sport. Of course, we've seen what happened with Todd Gurley and the risk-reward factor there. Le'Veon Bell, another guy in the mix there. David Johnson. I mean, the last four big running back contracts have all not really worked out in the favor of the team. So to me, that's the big thing, Mike. Like Christian McCaffrey, who with every other position you would go, okay, he's the next guy up and he's towards the top of his position, if not at the top. We expect him always to be the highest paid guy, right? In any other position. But a running back, I want to sit there and go, I don't know if that's necessarily a true fact of the matter here. I don't know. Is Carolina going to throw $16 million a year out to Christian McCaffrey? I think it's very debatable to me.
Well, and you could argue Christian McCaffrey's in a different position than some of these other running backs because of what he means both in the passing game and the running game.
Sure.
Only the third guy in league history to have over 1,000 yards in a season, both rushing and receiving. But still, it's a position where we see the wear and tear very quickly accumulate. We see guys who, by the time they are earning the big money, by the time they are a couple of years into that second contract, or in some cases, the first year into that second contract, their best days are fading into the rearview mirror. It is a buyer beware proposition, and the Rams surely regretted giving Todd Gurley the contract. The Jets surely regretted paying Le'Veon Bell once he became a free agent, and the Cowboys may regret giving Ezekiel Elliott what they gave him, especially as they're struggling to get Dak Prescott signed. You just have to wonder, will the Panthers do it? Will the Titans do it? From the Titans' perspective, maybe it's better to have Derrick Henry continuing to chase the carrot and let someone else give him big money. Let someone else step into that situation where they may say, why in the hell did we do this? I just feel like with so many of these running backs, except Adrian Peterson, who got his second contract in 2011 and was the NFL's MVP the following year after recovering from a torn ACL, which, at first it looked like they made a mistake paying him all that money because of the torn ACL. In recent years, the contracts that have been given to running backs, the big contracts, most of them have been mistakes, and most of them should result in teams saying we shouldn't have done it. And it really makes me wonder, is that going to keep the Titans from doing it with Henry, and will it keep the Panthers from doing it with McCaffrey, and will they ultimately have to trade him? His benefit right now, Chris, is he's the face of the franchise post-Cam Newton and post-Luke Kuechly. They can't afford to move on from him if they want to put fans in the stands, although that may not matter this year because there may be no fans allowed at the games anyway.
Well, and to further your point there at the end, which I think is very real, I mean, yes, you're right. He's the face of the franchise right now. And then it's Matt Rule and Joe Brady. And again, we've talked about this a lot, but Joe Brady is running that Sean Payton scheme in New Orleans. The back out of the backfield in the pass game is going to be paramount to the success for Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers offense. So he does have a little bit of a stranglehold there altogether. But I really think with these NFL teams, they're going to have to start figuring out creative ways to save their butts on the back end with some of these running backs. Because, you mentioned it. Adrian Peterson's, a diamond in the haystack. It doesn't happen very often. He's a freak of nature. He's one of the three greatest running backs of all time for my money. We saw LaShawn McCoy. Okay, I would say another guy who got, big money before it became really big, but at least he stayed healthy and played to that level. But those are rare Hall of Fame talent type guys. And so the running back position, it falls in a hurry. It just does. These guys, 4 or 5 years of getting car crash after car crash, all of a sudden you get to year 6 and you go, whoa, he lost a step. I saw it with running backs in my NFL career. it can fall off a cliff in a real hurry, and that's what I would worry about.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.